All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our bi-monthly Eastside Wrap meeting, where we're discussing impacts of homelessness in the Eastside neighborhood of Santa Barbara. My name is Landon Rank. I'm the Associate Director for SB Act, and I'm joined by my colleague, Kai Tilley. Encourage you to introduce yourself in the chat window, since we'll have some new faces today. And if you're associated with an organization, to mention that as well. We want to thank you all for being here. We have just a couple general announcements before we do some provider updates, and then we'll get to community concerns. So let me get to the announcements first. So just to start, we did have our community meeting just about the whole of South County and what's being done about homelessness throughout the region. If you missed it, that was on the 11th of September. You can watch the recording at our YouTube channel or on our website. So we encourage you to check that out. We had a really nice reporting from cities of Carpinteria, Goleta, Santa Barbara, and then the county of Santa Barbara, with a pretty comprehensive sharing about how they do outreach in each of those regions and kind of where it's being done. I also wanted to, well, maybe I won't steal Joao's thunder for this one, so we'll circle back to this. Another just general announcement is that we have a couple upcoming dates. So this is an incorrect date here. Our next Eastside Wrap meeting will actually be, what is it, October the 6th at 10 a.m. as usual. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. We'll also be doing an Eastside neighborhood walk next month. And so I'll follow up with you as soon as I have the dates on that. We usually try to pick a date when we can have the mayor and police chief in attendance as well. So I'm waiting to hear back from their calendars. But once we have that, I'll share that with you all. And this will be an opportunity primarily for us to talk with businesses about how they've been impacted by homelessness and learn about specific hotspots, but also for our outreach providers to do a little bit of outreach as well. The next PATH community cleanup will be on the 21st of October. And then we'll have our next sort of open community forum on December 11th. And that'll be for all of South County. So that won't be specific to just the city of Santa Barbara. Another just general announcement I wanted to make. So we've had one of the most significant vehicular homelessness spots in the city of Santa Barbara was the commuter lot on Carrillo Castillo. And that has been cleared out as of, I think, 3 days ago now. And so because of that, we're going to see a lot of RVs kind of moving around throughout the whole South County region. Obviously, there's some safe parking spots for them to go to, but not for everyone. And not everyone was eligible to do that either. So we do anticipate that that's going to be visible in different parts of the city. So we encourage you to please report if you do see someone who's parking, especially if it's illegal parking, so that we can note and send outreach services to go and try and work with them. And I guess that's a good segue just to talking about how to report things. Joao, do you want to share about the SB Connect?
Yes. So just a quick correction. The Carrillo lot did close yesterday.
Sorry, thank you.
For maintenance and some structure repairs. And yes, some of those individuals did move out to different parts of the city. And the way you can report it, let me share my screen here. How do you share the screen here?
There should be a green button down at the bottom of Zoom that says
There we go. Perfect. And it's to download the app. It's on for Google iPhones or Google phones. Sorry, iPhones and Google phones. It's an app. And here's a little commercial for you guys to see. It gives a little bit more information.
It's a little bit choppy, Joe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Joel, I don't think it's gonna play it through the meeting.
All right, but to report shopping carts, graffiti, code enforcement issues, that's how you do it. Any structure issues, download the app, you create an account, or you could do it anonymously, and it's a citywide. So if it's an issue at the park, if it's an issue at the waterfront, at the east side, submit your report. You could do it anonymously, or you could put your name, but you'll get real-time update progress reports.
Thank you, Joao. So this is taking the place of the former link that we used to share.
Yes, that is correct. It's if you go to that old link, it just redirects you to the new link, which is SB Connect, for you to download the app.
Great, thank you. So we encourage you all to go ahead and download that. It is a really nice, easy to use app. So we're hopeful that that will be helpful in aiding all of us in being able to address some of these issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some updates from our outreach providers. Why don't we start with Odin from Path?
Gladly. Good morning, everyone. So just a few updates in the last 2 weeks since we last spoke. Managed to get 2 individuals from the east side of into shelter here at Path. Now they're successfully transitioning in this ways, and one of them managed to get in connection with substance use treatment. So that makes 2 this week that I managed to get into substance use treatment. So it's gonna be a long, difficult process, but I'll be there with them the whole way, just to, help them out as they make this difficult decision to get off of, their substances. Made a few connections with the businesses, in particular Marburg and Iron Horse, and had some really productive discussions about, the resources that we desperately need here on the east side. It's clear that we need, easier access on the east side to substance use. It's easier. We need more of a presence here on the streets, so that way, people can access these services, and so there's a friendly face to guide them into those resources that are, hopefully not as far as, Goleta or LA or other places like that. We just need these services in the area. So spoke with them, our director, all together, just to have a, talk about our action steps moving forward. And we got a pretty good big win yesterday. Got one of my longtime clients into Harry's house. So she got her not only a studio, but a deluxe studio, fully furnished, everything like that, and connected with supportive services here at Path. She's loving it up there. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's brand new, and she's like, she told me, Odin, never in my wildest dreams would I've ever imagined being in a place like this. Thank you so much. And it's those wins that really get me through the week and get me through the day. Just love it. But besides that, just been, doing what I've been doing, working out on the east side, connecting with individuals and getting them document ready. A lot of new faces around here, but, just gotta be there, gotta be present. So that's my bit.
Thank you, Odin. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to Al with CityNet.
Good morning, everyone. We've been providing our usual outreach, primary focus with document readiness. We've had a couple good wins. Our city beds are currently filled up for App Path, so we have been able to get that. We placed 2 people within the past 2 weeks to be able to fill up those beds. We have been focusing a lot and put more time on Milpas this past 2 weeks. We've stopped a couple times now at one specific property that has been a concern for the east side. So we are communicating with PD, in regards to this individual. It has been engaging, but not really willing to open up to services at this point. But we have been in communication, have got the concerns from the community, and have been making our way out there. Besides our usually Monday milpas that we provide usual outreach in that area. We have both teams that have been coming out, covering our surf area, so along the railroads and corridor on the east side, along with our city, the Santa Barbara team. that we've been able to work and collaborate along with Odin when we're out there on Cacique in that area, providing support with him along with the Spanish outreach that we've been doing. We did get one person into long-term detox. They started off with a 14-day, and then thankfully they should be moving on to a longer 90-day program, which is something that I think, the conversation has started to begin of just opportunities and options for more of these programs that are going on, because it is very slim, and we've run into the kind of revolving door of someone ready to go into these type of supportive services and then receive them, and then the 14 days come up or the 3 days come up, and then they end up right back on the street. So this was a great opportunity to be able to see that continued opportunity, and it's just in a matter of 2 weeks, the difference on someone that you can see when they're stabilized and have these the supportive services around them and starting to get clean, like oh my gosh, they look so healthy. Like you just see a complete difference. So it's just that's one thing we will continue pushing for in our communities, just so with providing as much mental health care along with support with substances, because they do make a difference. But other than that, we've been having some good wins.
Thank you, Al. We'd had that community member, I think 2 weeks ago, who'd emailed specifically about that spot on Milpas, so he'll be happy to hear about the updates there. So thank you. And thanks to your team. So I don't see Good Samaritan on the call, so we'll skip that for right now. But we've noted there's been multiple overdoses throughout the city recently, and a couple in the Eastside and waterfront areas in specific. And we've gotten concerns from several of you who are on this call and others who aren't here today as well. So I asked Luis from the County Department of Behavioral Wellness Homeless Assistance team to just come and share a little bit about their outreach efforts, and maybe if they can specifically talk to what they do on the East Side. And I'd love to just be able to have a conversation with community members too about areas of concern. So Luis, I'll give it to you.
Hey, thank you, Landon, and thanks everybody for having me here. I do want to clarify a little bit of my role. I'm actually part of the MDT team, so it's a multidisciplinary team. And I think people here, almost everyone here, I know there's community members as well, can all refer to our program. So I'll tell you a little bit about our program. Our program is consisted of behavioral wellness, public defenders, and public health. And we try to target the top 10 utilizers of county services. So if they're constantly going to the hospital, constantly overdosing, constantly getting 5150, we try to target those individuals and support them so they can eliminate some of that expenditure towards the county and just taxpayers in general. So I can provide that form, individuals, if you guys can refer them. They do have to meet criteria of at least 2 out of 3 programs. So essentially they have to be have health issues and maybe mental health issues, or say legal issues and health issues, 2 out of 3. So we do vet the people that we intake into our program. We usually have like 10 to 15 people, and it's usually the top 10 utilize our services. We highly, and I want to thank Al Ortiz, Good Samaritan, Anais, and Christina Garcia from CityNet. I want to praise them just because we use them a lot, because they do the general outreach and we do targeted outreach. So sometimes Christina will identify somebody, hey, we came across somebody on the East Side, he might need a little bit additional support. So we take it from there and do targeted outreach for that individual. Right now, in regards to overdosing in the East Side and overall in Santa Barbara in general, the County of Santa Barbara is utilizing the Fentanyl Forever campaign. And if you guys are familiar with it or not, I can add an email towards the end. And what that is we are distributing Narcan kits across the county. We can get a little card, we give it out, you scan it, they'll send it to your house, they'll send it anywhere. We provide any kind of supportive needs that they might need for any kind of overdosing. So with that Fentanyl Forever program, the county is going into schools and doing prevention programs. So we're trying to get people just to know the effects of fentanyl, because it is forever. So that's the approach we're taking. We increased the county inpatient beds for substance use, outpatient and inpatient. And I did hear Odin say that we need something closer. There is places closer. those houses that are in the area are anonymous. So it's inpatient, so we can't tell them out. So there are services there. And for example, sometimes for immediate use, we do send out to LA or so forth. But the beds are available. The supportive services are there. I would highly utilize the supportive services that are there. City is a great resource. I think I know mostly everyone saying that they reach out to me if there's a certain person that they want me to speak to. Same thing with Good Samaritan. Fernando for Good Samaritan is amazing. Landon reached out to us as well. Where as soon as we get contacted, we will dispatch and try to support that individual if possible. But the county is increasing the beds, inpatient and outpatient, for supporting individuals struggling with substance use. I'm sorry if I took a lot of time.
No. This is really helpful, Luis. So that's how the multidisciplinary team works. Are you able to speak at all to how the homeless services team works? And like, do they do just general outreach to areas where people are camping?
Yes, as well. So I used to be part of the homeless services team as well. So the difference is MDT focuses on the top 10 users. Homeless services is SPMI, severe and persistent mental illness, moderate to severe, and homeless. So their criteria is a little bit different. And the county actually pays for shelter beds at PATH, Salvation Army, Good Samaritan, Hedges House, and Dignity Moves. And we have a great relationship with them, and we continue retention services there. So they would just have to meet for homeless services, SPMI, and being homeless. They do general outreach as well, targeted areas, but as well, this is CityNet is fantastic in that aspect, in which they have their eyes everywhere, and then if not, Good Samaritan has their area. So we can do, homeless service can do general outreach, but we try to do targeted outreach if possible.
So I think if a community member is seeing like repeated issues around specifically behavioral health concerns for individuals experiencing homelessness, and it may not be the same individual every time, what would be the best way for them to try and reach out to the team to outreach to that area?
I would say I would contact CityNet or Good Samaritan. This reason being is because it's kind of frustrating, and I get the general population's concerns and frustration, is because sometimes they can speak to us about a client, and due to HIPAA, we can't communicate back because we might know exactly who they're talking about and what supportive services are there. So when CityNet or Good Samaritan contacts us, hey, they're really concerned about this person. We have a MLU with CityNet and Good Samaritan, so we can contact like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're gonna do, this so forward. So sometimes that two-way communication is frustrating, but we have to respect HIPAA and the individual's rights. So I think the best bet will contact CityNet and Good Samaritan. They'll reach out to us, or that individual can let us know, hey, this person is looking out for my well-being. It's okay for you guys to, if they give verbal consent, we can speak on their behalf and like, okay, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna follow up with this. But verbal consent goes only so far for the time being. After that, we'll have to get a release of information.
And sorry, one other question from me. I know that we have these kind of staffing shortages countywide. So I'm curious, like what sort of response time is realistic if an individual, if the community member reports, hey, this area, there's a lot of action, a lot of issues. What realistically, when do you think, how long will it take for the team to get out there?
Honestly, we don't have staffing issues, at least with homeless services. So it could be same day, but as mentioned, or I haven't mentioned it before, we do have agendas. And like, for example, I'm supposed to be at the mental wellness center from 10 to 12, providing supportive services there. So sometimes we can't just leave. So it could be same day or next day. If it's Friday, we'll get by Monday, but we are fully staffed and able to support sooner rather than later.
All right, thank you. So I think with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to community members. This is a good time to talk with Luis. It's also just a good time to just share any general community concerns as well.
I have a question for Al.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Al, you were cutting out when you were talking. My internet was fading there. Did you ever reach out to that gentleman on the house on Milpas?
Oh yeah, that was actually the specific. Yeah, that's specifically what I was talking about. We actually stopped by there twice. We have been coordinating with PD. The individual like does move sometimes during the day, like to the McDonald's area, and has engaged, has been cordial with our staff, but right now, being resistant to actual services. We let them know that we're going to continue following up. We've been in communication, and Joao and the city are familiar with the situation, along with PD. So it is something we have stopped by there 2 times within the past week, just to continue now, just building that rapport and let them know that it's not all right for him to stay there. He has to move on. Obviously, we offer shelter, and from there. But yes, we have been connecting with that individual in that property. And
Great.
thank you for letting me know, Jess.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, this is Susie. Thank you, Luis, for sharing. That's good information. We've experienced or observed 2 ODs this week in front of Marburg. Actually, one of our safety team members had to do chest compressions on somebody that was passed out at our recycling center at the ABOP. So it's quite disturbing. And Al, I'm going to reach out to you as well. There's one individual that has OD'd twice in the last couple of weeks. And he's a very young gentleman, so it would be great to see him get some support and help, whether he wants it or not. But it's really hard to watch when you're going to work and working and seeing this happen on a day-to-day routine. So whatever services and partnerships that you can provide also to Odin, because he's also seeing this happen on a day-to-day routine here in Passaic.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Susie. I did add the Fentanyl is Forever website on the chat. What you can do there, and just goes for anybody out there, you can go there, you can put your address down, and they'll send you a Narcan kit if you are out of it, or if there's someone in danger in front of you, you can have that for you, and it's free of charge. But I did put that on there, and you can get that sent over there. What we can do is Odin does a lot of outreach in that area too, though, and Odin, I know Odin as well. He can always contact me if there's a specific person that we want to target. We can do. I think I know the individual you're speaking about, and I think we have tried to target them in the past. But all we can do is continue to try to support them, and that's something I will do.
Okay, thank you. And I had a good conversation with Odin and Liz at PATH yesterday, and Odin continues to do great work, but he's only one person. I know that they need additional support and resources. So again, it takes a village, right? So we all have to work together. And I would like to see more effort and support in this drug problem, because I understand that we have a housing shortage, but I think that we also need to really target the issue of the drug abuse that's going on and make sure that the drug dealers are not preying on the vulnerable like the individuals at PATH. So
another great resource that could be utilized, Landon, and I'm pretty sure the county, the community members are aware of, Betsy Thompson from Public County Health. She specializes in alcohol and drugs, and she would be a good resource to do outreach for individuals on the east side if needed.
That's a great idea. I can email her and see if I can just put her in touch with some of these folks. I will say too, Susie, that we're starting this South County-wide collaboration around homelessness. And so part of my job has been going around and interviewing all the key stakeholders, all the people that run all the homeless agencies and the shelters and the government agencies, to try and get a sense of their priorities. And the behavioral health is almost everyone's number one. And so what we're trying to do right now is figure out what is an actual strategy that we can undertake to try and reduce it, and then what are some actual numeric goals that we can set to try and do that. But it's visible in our community. So I also just wanted to mention too, I know there are different kinds of resources for sort of the crisis response, but also just for our staff as well. There's an organization called the Santa Barbara Response Network, and I put their URL in the chat window. And typically what they'll respond to is if someone is party to a crisis or witnesses a crisis, that they will show up to provide psychological first aid and just support the people who may have that secondary trauma from witnessing something. And so encourage you, if that's of use, to give them a call, because they'll do like site visits and they'll come and talk to your staff or whoever you need. But obviously that doesn't solve the problem. It's just a triage thing for right now.
Thank you. That's helpful. Yeah, it was hard for me to shake it off my mind on Monday. I mean, I even went to my ballet class on Monday evening and still couldn't get it off my brain. So if that's me, I'm sure others at work here are having the same difficulty. So those are great resources to share. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly.
Hey, Landon.
Yes, who was that? I'm sorry.
It's Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, there you are.
One last question to all of you. Has anybody reached out to that large group that's on Upper Cassique with the tents and all the bicycles?
Hi, Jesse. This is Midpath. I reach out to them basically every other day. It's a very, very difficult group.
Yes.
There are a
Yes.
few individuals, you know, a lot of them primarily have been very much burned by services in the past. It's just kind of an uphill battle with a fair bit of them. But, you know, I have built rapport with a few that I'm trying to, you know, separate from the group, because once they're in that, you know, there's a big encampment like that, it's just hard to approach one-on-one and to get, you know, something constructive without, you know, them being, how do I say this, wrapped up in each other. So really the strategy for me at the moment is just, you know, find that one individual and then, you know, have that one-on-one away from the area, so that way, hey, they can have some kind of self-reflection and bring them into services. It can't happen fast, and I wish it did, but really it's just kind of going there every single week and seeing if there's some kind of change, because there's one person there that there's two people that are mainstays, that have been mainstays there since I've been at Path, and, you know, still to this day, there's still a little bit, there's some kind of hesitation there, but, you know, it's just not, for me, what I say is that it's not a matter of if, but when. So it's just, you know, bringing in different resources, trying different angles, and then, you know, one of these days, once they do reach the services, I'll be there. So,
Jesse, is this the group on the 700 block of Cacique?
Yeah, before it turns into, what is it, Quarantina? Or
Yes. Yes, we've been going out there. Their property has been posted for Monday, so we do have to allow a 72-hour window for them to move their stuff, to collect their stuff by case law. Most of the time, they're not camping. There are different elements to camping. Sometimes they're just sitting there with their property. This week, they did put up a tent, and I was able to post them. So on Monday, it'll get cleared out. The main individual, I did have him arrested a few weeks ago. He just got released last week. So we will go out there on Monday and address the issue.
Thank you.
Landon, can I ask one more thing? It was
Yeah.
also brought to my attention that the cleaning or the street washing has stopped. And that really helped with keeping the road moving.
Yes, Susie. On Monday, we did not have the street cleaning because on Tuesday, Path had a neighborhood cleanup. I'll let Landon talk more about that.
Or maybe that'd be Odin or Joel.
I could step in. Yeah. So on Tuesday, we actually had a neighborhood cleanup set up by, in collaboration with the city and code enforcement. I can't believe I didn't put that in my notes. Oh my gosh. So we had a very good turnout. Individuals within the community came in and had you know, a good volunteer program for trash for cash. So members within the community came in, had the yellow vests, got grabbers provided by code enforcement, and picked up trash for a good 2 hours within the community, and really, took their time to take care of the community that they were, that they care for, and got rewarded for a lot of the things that that they already do. So we had a really good turnout, and honestly, I'm hoping that we can continue this for the next month, next years. It's really, really, really brought the community together.
Susie, but my crew will be there today to power wash and do litter pickup.
Great, thank you.
And Joe, just because that question was raised about camping and whether those individuals are technically camping, do you have handy that slide that sort of defines encampment? Because it's pretty important for how we respond to these situations. It's all right if you don't, but maybe we can just bring it up again next time.
Yes, well, let's see if I have a quick slide on that. There are several elements that define an encampment. A person just sleeping on the floor, that is not considered an encampment. A person sitting or standing on the sidewalk with their property is not considered an encampment. The elements are that he has to have a certain structure, whether it's a tent, cardboard box, something that's providing shelter. The other element is a non-city designated kitchen facility. So camping burner, anything that they're using to cook. Those are the two elements that define an encampment, whereas the city sees as an encampment.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this. And then there's the layer of when we're able to respond on public property versus private property. And so we do encourage you to keep reaching out to us if you have any questions about what is feasible and what can actually be done for different situations, because there's always a response. It just depends on which one. All right. So I think with that, we'll close it for the community members. Really, really appreciate you being here today, and thank you for the conversation. I will save the chat, and if anybody else wants that emailed out as well, I'm happy to share that. Thank you all.
Thank you.